Hello, this is the RPG Crawler, and welcome to a channel update for April 2016. Now, as some of you may have noticed, I've been getting a number of subscribers in quick succession real quick, and just the last week or so, it's been really picking up, and I ascribe most of that to certain videos that I've done that I'm going to go ahead and comment on towards the end. But I would like to welcome everybody who's a new subscriber, and in general, everybody who is a new viewer. All of my viewers are really awesome. I really appreciate the fact that I can go into my comment section and it's not, a complete drop down, drag out fight on even some of the most peculiar issues. And it really kind of warms my heart that even the people that disagree with me are respectful and we can have a decent exchange. And that's how life's supposed to work. That's how life's supposed to work. It's not supposed to devolve into name calling. So I hope that I am producing enjoyable content for you. I intend to produce enjoyable content on into the future as long as I can. Understanding this is kind of a secondary thing to my day jobs, because I've actually got two or three of them, so my schedule is seriously packed, but I'm going to continue doing whatever I can to produce decent content. And if you have any suggestions on how I can improve that content, go ahead and throw me a comment. I take everybody's comments into consideration, and I work in good ideas when I can. Alright, so for those of you who are watching me, you can see I've returned to my... I've been continuing with my Baldur's Gate 2 / Oblivion 1 a week kind of thing, and I've been trying to break out of that. But it has been... In fact, this was the week where I was supposed to break out of it, but it has been an incredibly busy week for reasons, of course, that will become clear. As for my reviews, I put up my second major review and then an addendum to that review, and in fact that's the one that I'm, getting quite a few viewers from. I intend to do more reviews of both computer role-playing games and tabletop role-playing games when I can. They're not all going to be major releases like, Siege of Dragonspear and Curse of Strahd. They will be minor releases. I'm going to be doing a review, I believe, on 5th edition Foes pretty soon, which is a third-party book that's actually really kind of hard to get. It is, of course, for D&D 5th edition. It's a monster book from Frog God Games. I'm going to be doing a review on that. I had it planned out, and then I discovered there was some difficulty getting it from some of the stores, from some of the online stores that I was looking at. And so I put it off, and then they kind of added it to the Fantasy Grounds thing. So you can actually get 5th edition Foes through Fantasy Grounds, which is the online tabletop thing that you can get through Steam. It's the official online tabletop thing that D&D is behind, or that Wizard of the Coast is behind. So I kind of feel bad because I could have been like 90% of the way through this review, through scripting this review, and I do script my reviews rather heavily. I could have been 90% of the way through it, and then just added a little, oh, by the way, this is on Fantasy Grounds, and put it up, and it would have been entirely relevant because I could have just added the links to the Fantasy Ground add-on for it. So I feel kind of bad that I didn't actually finish it up because I basically. I'll get into it in my news post. I'll probably touch on it in my news post. Anyway, so I'm going to be doing that. I'm going to be going in and doing some... I mentioned in my last channel update, which was late last month, so it seems that this one's coming on the heels of it, but I kind of just... I only space these out when I have things to update. So, I will be doing a review of... I'll start doing reviews of minor DM's Guild and RPG in independent RPG content, things that have either few stars or things that maybe only have a star or two, the really strange stuff. And as I have time, I'm going to be doing some of those reviews and putting them up. Maybe not my main review section, but it looks like I thought it was a concept. I didn't get much feedback on it, but as a concept, I will be trying it out. I don't know how well it's going to go. I mean, some of the stuff that I've picked out to review is of unfortunate quality, and some of it is really, really neat. So we'll see where I'm doing on that. But that's a long-term thing. It's probably going to be towards the end of the month. For the middle of the month, I'm going to be doing the review on 5th edition foes, as you can see. I will also be doing reviews on some other third-party 5th edition D&D monster books. So I don't know whether they're going to be making it into this month. Depends on how busy I am. Because I'm also going to finish off my Tabletops and Taverns discussion on alignments. I will be doing the neutral alignments, which is going to be like the hardest one, and the evil alignments. I don't know what order I'm going to be putting them in, but you will be expecting 2 more Tabletops and Taverns videos on alignments before the end of the month. I'm going to be, of course, continuing my Let's Plays of Baldur's Gate 2. I already mentioned that. But one thing I did recently, and this is something that I want to put on the channel, but I really, really can't right now, is that I recently picked up... I have a confession to make. I have not played too far into Dark Souls because I didn't own the game. I was playing it on somebody else's machine. I've owned Demon Souls since like day one. But recently I had some money in my pocket, and I probably should have spent it more wisely. But I went into a store because I understood that Dark Souls 3 was coming out and said, hey, I may as well start catching up on the series. As I've said before in my news posts, I didn't own a current generation console. So I went into the GameStop, which is probably a really bad idea because you can get those things better. You can get those things cheaper elsewhere. So I roll up into GameStop because I got a 20 burning in my pocket. I want to get a used copy of Dark Souls. Start getting into the Dark Souls series. And I see they have some sort of special at the time on a number of other things, including this particular one had a special on used consoles, and I don't think that was a store. I don't know when. I don't know if that was a branch wide or if it was specific to that branch or a whole franchise wide thing, but whatever. End result is I rolled up with 20 in my pocket expecting to get Dark Souls. I rolled out of there with Dark Souls, Bloodborne, and a PS4. And somebody telling me that I needed to get Dark Souls 2, Scholar of the First Sin, but they didn't have it there. So, I now have joined the current console generation. At last, finally. Yay! But this leaves me with this, is that the reason I bring this up is because I want to kind of do reviews of the Dark Souls series, Dark Souls, Demon Souls, the Bloodborne, which is not the same series, but close enough for government work. But the main reason I want to do this is because Dark Souls 3 is coming out. However, I haven't worked out, because I didn't buy a capture card. I probably should have bought a capture device. And until I get a capture device, I'm going to be reluctant to... I got to work out some way to record footage. And I understand there's a way to do it even without the capture card, especially with the new PlayStation 4 update, which lets you basically do lets you do a remote play. It skipped my mind for a moment. Lets you do a remote play on that, and I suspect that I can probably try to do it and then do some jerry-rigging with my systems to capture the video off that. I don't know. Who knows? Well, we'll see. But anyway, the important part is I want to start getting into reviewing some console content as well. I'm primarily a PC gamer, but even as a PC gamer, I can say that I do like certain things on the console, and I want to start taking a look at that. So people can start seeing that long term. Probably not this month. Maybe not next month, but if people are wondering if I'm going to have a Dark Souls 3 review, I would love to, but that is not going to happen until I get that console thing sorted out. But I will be doing other game reviews as they come out. I expect another news post probably today, not a channel update, but a news post where I've got some Kickstarter stuff to announce for other people, and I've got some coverage on some tabletop stuff that's happened in the shadow of the whole, Siege of Dragonspear thing. And I would like to thank Beamdog for putting out a product that has generated so much buzz, bad or good, because I've seen almost a tripling of my daily views since the thing came out. And I have welcomed about 10% of my subscribers right now, or a little bit over little bit over 10% of my subscribers right now have joined since that controversy erupted, and I'm sure some of them joined for my other stuff, but I'm sure that a lot of eyeballs were drawn to some of those reviews that I did that I honestly am kind of almost ashamed of, because that first review was mostly a initial impressions review, and it was not expected. I did not expect it to get that many views. I expected to throw it up for the people who watch my channel to say, hey, this is what I've got, and this is what I've encountered thus far, and I'm putting the rest of it off until I should have called it, and it's been recommended to me several times, and I'm going to do this in the future. I would like to apologize for not playing through the thing entirely before putting that review up. In the future, I will mark these reviews on games that either I do not have the time to fully complete, or that I'm holding off for a Let's Play. I'll put my initial impressions. Those will be first impressions reviews from now on. I should have known. I should have done it. I dropped the ball on that one. You all have my sincerest apologies on how I handled that particular review. I believe my addendum may have made up for some of it, but in the future going forward, I will clearly demark this is a full review and this is a first impressions review. I will that is my mea culpa on that. I am not too proud a man to say when I fucked up, and I fucked up on that one. Hopefully it was still informative for what I covered, and hopefully I managed to cover the concerns other people had in the second video. For general reference, Indie Game Fridays are always first impression videos. I play those games for approximately 2 hours. Since they're independent games, sometimes 2 hours is the whole damn game. Sometimes 2 hours is just enough to say, oh, this is neat. Now, independent games tend to be a little bit more clear-cut, because in an independent game, a flaw, as I've said in some of my comments, when you're reviewing an indie game, even if it's a long indie game, they tend to have a more consistent quality to them. Oddly enough, they have more consistent quality than AAA games, because a lot of times with an independent game, it's a smaller studio. So a flaw is going to crop up, and it's going to stay throughout the thing. It's not like a AAA game where you've got teams of people, and then you hit some content that was produced by somebody, and then you turn around and you hit some content that was produced by another person, and it's like going over a bumpy road. Everything is like a little bit different as you go through. With an independent game, when you've only got like one person or a team of like 4 or 5 people, then content tends to be more consistent. I will continue to do first impressions on those. I believe that the first impressions that I've made are so far are accurate on those games, or more accurate than they are in other cases. So continue to expect those. It is sitting here in the afternoon on Thursday, and I have no idea what I'm going to do for Indie Game Friday tomorrow. So that's going to be interesting. I've got options. Those of you who watched my Hyperlight Drifter review, I haven't played it personally anymore since then, but it has been literally all some of my other contacts online have been talking about back and forth. So if you haven't watched the Hyperlight Drifter review, I'll put a link in the description below. It's an Indie Game Friday review. If you haven't checked it out, if you like really hard, really interesting adventure games, it's more adventure game than RPG. I'll give it that. It's more adventure game than RPG. It's an RPG in the same way that Dark Souls is an RPG, kind of. You've got a character progression, sort of, and it's mostly by boosting your gear. It doesn't have the whole stat system that Dark Souls has, but it is hard, it is challenging, it takes a lot of skill, and I've been hearing nothing but good things about it. Even when they rage quit, they're like, oh, this game is so hard, it's so good, but it's so hard. So it's worth considering. I hate being a shill for a game, but I hate being seen as being a shill for a game, but I ain't making anything from this one, and I've heard nothing but good things about it. So I will put a link to the review in the description below. What else do I want to cover? I think that's about it. I do have more things planned, but a lot of them... Oh, yeah. I'm going to do some videos on on making a character in D&D 5th edition. I should have made it by now, actually, but I was looking for a way to go ahead and roll my dice and catch them on camera, and I think I've got a solution for that covered. I'll be making videos on how to make D&D characters in every single edition eventually, but it's been specifically requested by, I think, like 4 people, most of them in PM, that I do making characters in 5th edition, and then I will go ahead and cover the other editions as I have time. And the other thing is that, let's see, create character. DM's Guild. At some point, I'm going to design an adventure, and I'm going to go through the step-by-steps of designing an adventure and putting it up on DM's Guild, Dungeon Master's Guild. I'm not going to put a single video of that up until I've already gone through the process. So that's going to take a while. But it's something that I'm going to do. I'm going to just do it in my free time. You know, the time between when I stand up and when I walk to the kitchen or whatever, or then when I walk, Anyway, my free time, I'm going to be throwing together an adventure to put out on the Dungeon Master's Guild. And I will cover the whole process from step 1 to where it's up. And hopefully that'll be helpful to some people. So I think that about covers it. That's my plans for this month and, in fact, for the next couple of months. Although, of course, I will, as always, update it as I go on. And those of you who have been longtime followers of me know that I'm probably not going to get to some of these things anytime soon. But I will get to them eventually. All right. For now, this has been the RPG Crawler with the April 2016 channel update. If you like what you've seen, remember to like, subscribe for more RPG content, and as I said before, comment on any feedback that you have for me. Until next time, take care and goodbye.